going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Lone Wolf 902, and in today's video it's actually a viewer request video about what I take with me for my camp cooking and kitchen items. So here I have the most used items that I typically bring on the average trip, depending whether I'm driving in a truck or I'm backpacking or I'm in a kayak or I've got my bulk sled in the wintertime. This is all of my regular use items, and I'm going to go over each one and kind of show you and give you a little bit of an idea of what I got going on here. One important thing though, I'm not going to go over individual specs. So I'm not going to talk about the weight of this or the size of this. I'm not going to get into all those specs because the video would be crazy long, but I will say I do have a review on pretty much everything here. So go to my playlist and look at gear testing and product reviews. Check out that and you'll find the reviews and all the information that you're looking for. So I'm going to start with one item and I'm basically going to cover that, push it off to the side and continue through all the items. And it's going to be a fun one. So let's get started. Okay, so getting started, first of all, I went ahead and lit 2 mosquito coils, left and right, so keep the bugs out of my face a little bit. To get started, like I was just saying a few seconds ago, I'm not going to be going over specs on any of the stuff. There's just too much to go over, weight, size, and all that stuff. I'll touch on a few key kind of pros and cons, but I'm not going to get into a review on it because I do have reviews on each individual item. So, there's a bug. I do have reviews on each item, so instead of asking what the weight is, the only response I'm probably going to give is just drop a link to that review. But like I said, check out my gear review and playlist of my gear and testing and whatnot. I do have a playlist where all of this stuff is spoken about, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, so feel free to have a look at that. The first product we're going to talk about is the kettle. Now, this kettle I did pick up myself. I think it was $14 to $16 Canadian. I got it off Amazon.ca, and it is modified slightly. So this kettle is from Overmont. It came with a green silicone handle, and I didn't like it, so I cut it off immediately and I replaced it with jute twine. So I just wrapped this around much like you would a knife handle or a spear, and then I went ahead and did the same thing on the little handle to take the lid off. The reason I chose this guy is it's compact and small enough for me to make my coffee, because you guys know I love my coffee and tea when I'm out in the woods. And it has a straight through spout, and what I mean by straight through spout is if I take, if I take this piece of metal here and I put it through the spout, you can see it goes right through. And the reason why for me that's really important is because I don't always take my my coffee filter with me out in the woods. Sometimes I'll be more on a survival kind of video or a bushcraft type feel, or maybe I just want to pack light, and I'll bring this and make my coffee. And what I do is I take spruce tips and I jam them down in the spout, so when I pour, it works as a coffee filter to stop any tea leaves or coffee kind of going through and getting in my my cup. So this is the kettle that I went with. This one I believe is a 0.6 or 0.8 liter. You have to check the review on it. But like I was saying, it does come with a stuff sack or a little carry mesh bag, and it's quite nice one actually. It's got a drawstring. Go ahead and cinch that up, and keeps things secure. Now, another reason why I went with this kettle being small and whatnot, because I do have pots that I make my coffee in, but this does hold other items. So I could put my spoon, my fork, my alcohol stove, food, whatever I want to put inside, I could put it inside and seal it up, and I can carry everything kind of in one. And it also works as a little bear bag. Talking about the food, I can actually hook it on here and hike it up in a tree and leave it set there overnight or whatever. So this is the kettle that I've got. I'm going to go ahead and push it off to the side. Actually, we'll go this way. We'll go over here. So that's item number 1 is the kettle. Item number 2, might as well get this guy out of the way. This is my canister stove. Now this is a giant canister. I like having the big canisters in my truck, and if I'm going on multi-day trips where I'm not allowed having fires, I'll bring a big canister and solely rely on this stove. So I'll go ahead and disconnect it from the gas canister. And these are all the same. I mean, you get these anywhere, whatever brand you want to get, you can get. Now, the stove of my choice, I've had this guy for, I want to say 5 years, and it is going strong. This is the Optimus Crux, okay? This is the foldable version, not the straight stem, the light version, I believe they call it. So this one does fold and snap into place. And these little fins do also fold in on themselves. It's 5 years old, so sometimes they're a little rough to fold in. So there, it kind of folds up nice and flat. It fits in the palm of my hand, and the reason why it folds flat like this, I don't have the carry bag anymore, but it actually goes in a bag and it nestles right in the bottom of your canister like that. So really cool design, and it just flips right out, and then you go ahead and extend the legs, and this thing puts out about 10,000 BTUs, I believe it is, and it boils a cup of water in a hurry. So that is the Optimus Crux, and I love it. I really do. I'll probably upgrade at some point to a nice, like maybe a BRS titanium stove, just for something a little more compact and a little bit more lightweight, because this guy does weigh a bit. But that's the stove that I got. Works great. Love it. So toss that off to the side. Next item, let's talk about this cup. So this is my titanium 420 milliliter cup. This cup does not have any holes on the lid, much like the other cup that I'll show you in just a second. Great cup, great cup. I did purchase this, I think it was like $10.99 with the lid off of Amazon.ca. So pretty lucky find. Basic standard titanium cup. It's got a really rough finish on it, like a raw titanium. The lid does fit on there quite tight. I can actually do that again, quite tight. Depending on how you have it orientated. It seems to be loosening up now, it's getting a little bit older, but it does sit on there quite tight, and I've had it about a third full with coffee, and you can actually pick it up by the handle without dropping it. So that might be a little perk to some people. They want a really tight sealing lid. Unfortunately, I don't have the brand to this. It was just one of those no-name brands that I kind of grabbed up. But very, very good cup, nice and portable. I can make oatmeal in this. I can actually cook with this over the fire. And it being titanium, it's antibacterial or microbial, whichever of the two. It doesn't corrode, it's very light, it cools very quickly, as long as there's no hot liquids inside of it, and it works really great. So the next item on the list, now that we're talking about cups, is this guy right here. This is, I believe, a 450 milliliter cup. So this is the 420, this is the 450. You can see there's a tiny, tiny difference in height. But the big difference is, the big difference is in the bottom. So this guy actually fits inside of there if the handles weren't on there. So that's where the size difference comes in to these guys. Now, this one was actually sent to me by Big Biddy Q, right there on the side. Titanium as well. This lid fits on, just drops on, whereas the other cup, like I was saying, it's got a little bit of a seal. So, main difference, it does have a hole in the lid, so you can drain off a little bit of liquid if you like. A little bit taller of a handle to kind of pick the lid up. I really like this cup a lot. I've actually been using this primarily now just because of the extra size. I can cook a little bit more. So if I bring rice, I can actually cook up a little bit of rice inside of the cup. Or I can use it for drinking coffee, whatever. Now, the look of this cup, you can see it's blued a lot, and it's got that nice titanium look to it, whereas this one is just kind of flat and black. This one I heat treated, so they do not sell like this. It actually looks like a nice titanium color, no coloring on it, and I actually put it over top of my my Optimus Crux stove one day. I was a little bit bored, and I really enjoy the blue color. So I went ahead and set it on top of the stove, rotated it, kind of got the pattern that I liked, and I really like it now. It's got kind of that titanium old look, you know, it looks used and it is used, but this one has a really interesting look to it. Very loose handles on this guy, so they do flop around a little bit. This one, the handles are a little bit more tighter, and yeah, similar differences. Titanium cups are titanium cups. But this one's great. Like I said, this one comes from Big Biddy Q. I'll have a review on this as well as the other items that they sent to me. So that's the cup. we might as well stick with the Big Bitty Q kind of theme here, and we'll move this aside. So here is my titanium spoon, fork, and knife combo. Now these are all color coded, or color tempered, I should say. I heated them up over my stove again, just to kind of give them that nice blue kind of golden titanium look, if that's picking up in the camera at all. These are from Big Bitty Q. Like I was saying, they fold, so it does have a little locking piece to keep them in there, but they do fold flat. So the handle goes in on all three of them. Now, unfortunately, the handles are stainless steel. They're not titanium, so that does add a little bit of weight. But the cool thing with these is they actually fit all inside of the Big Bitty Q cup. And having them all inside of the cup like that makes for a really, really easy carry. And I mean, if you only want to take the spoon, if you don't need the knife or the fork, you don't really have to take them. But they all fit inside of the cup with the lid on, nice and flat. Really cool. So we'll get that off to the side. Let's just finish up Big Bitty Q items, actually. So this camp grill was sent to me by Big Bitty Q as well. That's a hard word to say. Big Bitty Q. So this is a stainless steel grill. I believe it's 316 marine steel. I'm not 100% on that. You'll have to check the review. This grill, so we'll put it next to this grill here, you can see is quite a bit taller. It works great if you have a canister stove and you're just using this as a table instead of using it over fire. Depending on how tall your canister is, you can actually set it down here and then put your pot on top and use it as basically a hot table, so you can cook and then you can move it off to the side. You could bring in another pot, another pan, or you could just use it as a nice little table stand to do whatever you need it to do. Now, the cool thing with this grill is it actually collapses. So here it's in its widest setting. It does collapse sideways, and then all of these legs fold in on themselves. If I can get it folded in there. All these legs fold in. Now, once you get all the legs folded in, now the entire grill actually folds. It's a little stiff because it's been over the fire a few times. So for form factor, it folds up into this neat little square, or rectangle, I should say. So this is another piece of kit from Big Bitty Q, like I was saying. They've got some interesting products. Not a whole lot of products, but what they do have is interesting. And then you can go ahead and set it up however you wish. You can set it up different heights, different needs. If you don't need the whole grill wide, or if you do want it wide, you can go ahead, slide it out, and it makes for a great little table slash grill. So that's the deal with that. We'll go ahead and put it off to the side. Maybe put the cups on top. While we're talking about grills, we might as well move into this guy. This is absolutely light. There's nothing to this. Now, this is a new product that was sent to me from Pomali. You guys know I have a pretty good relationship with Pomali and helping them design their products and also test them. And this one's very special to me because they've actually gone ahead and etched Lone Wolf 902 in the leg, right above the Pomali logo on both legs. So pretty special to me. I really like that. And like I said, I've got a really, really good friendship with those guys over at Pomali. Awesome. So this grill is 100% titanium. The screws are titanium, the legs, the stays, everything is titanium. It makes this thing incredibly light, and it does pack down. Unlike this grill over here, it stays quite large. I'll go ahead and take off 2 of the thumb screws here. There's one, here's another. Go ahead and get these taken. It's fairly quick setup with this, actually. Really nice form factor. So this slides off, and then the 2 stays fold in on itself like that. And then all of these guys come out, and these are basically hollow titanium tubes. You can even use it as a drinking straw if you really want to. So there's those ones there. This one also unscrews. Go ahead and get these completely off. And there's another screw here. So now that we've got all the screws out, we've got one leg folded and the other leg's kind of open. What I like to do is take 2 of these kind of grill sections, put them inside of the leg, and then go ahead and seal it up. And that takes care of 2 inside of that leg. I'll put 2 inside of here. So those will go in there. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extras that are all the same length. I'll put a rubber band on them, keep them together. They do have a storage sack with this. I didn't receive it, so I just kind of keep it by itself. Sometimes I'll put it inside. I do have stuff sack that I put it in, my own stuff sack, but I like carrying it with just a rubber band. Throw a band around it, and it packs really nice. It's really lightweight, awesome grill. Absolutely love it. So that's the deal with this grill. Another piece of titanium, and these screws, very, very light. So that is that, and I love it. So next item, we'll talk about my 750 ml titanium pot. So this pot is, like I was saying, is 750 milliliters. It is 100% titanium, or I should say like 99.99% titanium is what most of these products are on the market. So it is titanium, it's very light. It does come with its own little stuff sack with a drawstring. Love this thing, I really do. I use it a lot. As you can see, it's got creosote all over. I put this thing right in the fire, make my noodles, make my coffee, whatever I need to do, this thing does the job. So one interesting thing with having a 750 ml pot, like I was saying, I do have a kettle. I bring the kettle with me. I never cook food in my kettle. I only boil water, and then I make my coffee and I pour it out. I don't even put sugar in there, okay? So it's just water, coffee, that's it. This pot I use for boiling water, making coffee, cooking food, whatever I need to do. So taking both really isn't needed. Now I'll take both. I spoil myself. I should say I'll take both if I'm in the truck or if I'm on, you know, the water in a kayak. But if I'm hiking, typically I'll only take one. This thing does everything. This only does water, okay? Or at least I use it for water. So having the 750 also fits my 450 ml cup right inside with room to spare. I even think that no, that doesn't fit. Close, very close. So you can put a little something else in there if you like. Put the lid on, nice, fold the handles in, nice form factor. So there's your spork, I can't even talk. Your spork, spoon, knife, cup, lid, pot, lid, all in one. So this is a really effective cook set that I like to take. You don't really have to bring, like I said, you don't got to bring all the cutlery with it. It'll lighten it up exponentially if you don't. But that's the deal with the pot, 750 ml titanium. And I don't remember the name on this guy, off of Amazon.ca. So another great product. Go ahead and set that off to the side. And let's talk about my coffee filter, because I get asked a lot about this guy. So this is it says Primula Coffee Brew Buddy. So I picked this up at a local Walmart for $5, probably about 2 years ago. And it's just a fine mesh cone, and it's got a hole in it, and you basically just set it right over top of your cup like that. And I like putting my coffee inside of my kettle, like I was saying, and then I'll go ahead and pour the grounds and everything right into there. This will catch all the grounds, works great. It also works great as a pre-filter. It's flat, so it can actually fit in the bag underneath of the kettle. It's good for a pre-filter, so if you're gathering water out of a brook or stream or whatnot, you can actually pre-filter it through here to grab all the sediment like you would like with a bandana or a t-shirt. It's a good piece of kit that I have, and it makes filming really easy. And some of the stuff is based on filming, because when you're out camping, that's one thing, but when you're out filming yourself camping, that's a whole different ball game. So anything that makes things quicker and easier, such as this, pour it in, done, toss it off to the side, continue doing what I'm doing, makes my life easier. And this is plastic, it weighs next to nothing. Great product, $5, can't beat it. So that's my coffee filter of choice. It works really well, and I've had it for a while and it's never failed me. So that's what I pack. Next product, talking about coffee, here I have just a regular screw top container with some awesome smelling coffee inside of it still. Yeah, it's a screw top tin. It's a little banged up. You can get these on Amazon, I think like a pack of 5 for like $6 or something. That's all there is to it. It's just a screw top aluminum container. I put my coffee in, that's it. let's talk about my spice kit. Now, this is not something that you can buy. At least I haven't been able. I mean, there are models you could buy similar to this, but you can't buy this one because I made this one. All right. So I made this out of a scrap piece of leather years ago, and I just wrap it nice and tight in between the vials, tuck it away. Nice little form factor. I like using this for, you know, that feel of traditional camping and traditional bushcrafting and whatnot. And it fits right in my pocket. So in it, I've got 5 glass vials, which I picked up at my local dollar store. They've got the little metal lids. You can also find these on Amazon. I found them all over. People have asked me all kinds of questions. Where'd I get them? Just Amazon. Do a basic search on Amazon. So here I've got like black cracked peppercorn, sea salt, Italian seasoning, garlic, and this one's chili powder. Those are kind of my 5 main spices that I like to bring with me. Nice and lightweight. Glass vials have never broken. I've had this on some pretty rough trips, banging it around, bumping it around, and I've never had a glass vial break, knock on wood. Works great, and like I said, I just go ahead and tuck the little leather string in there just like that, toss it in my pot. It actually fits in my kettle, so if I want to travel with it in the kettle or in the pot, works great. So 5 spices, my spice kit. One thing I forgot, my titanium cup. Where is it? The cup that I received from Big Biddy Q, just on the other side of the table, and found the stuff sack. So comes with this stuff sack with a nice drawstring on it. Fits in here really nicely if you're just bringing the cup. It helps keep the lid on there so your stuff isn't falling out. Now, like I was saying, I like carrying mine inside of my pot, so I'll just use the one drawstring bag, which goes to the pot. So just kind of wanted to show you that it does come with a stuff sack. Next item, let's go into my Expedition Research titanium stove. Now this guy is incredibly lightweight. It has this nice little Velcro pouch. The pieces slide in there. It's got a little kind of loop handle system here, so you can attach it to whatever you want. Inside of it, so what I've got inside of it here is just my DIY alcohol pop can stove. This is made out of 2 bottom sections of a beer can. Just cut it, mash them together, put the holes in there, and you got an alcohol stove. Now this guy, I've had this for probably 3 years, and it outperforms any alcohol stove that I've ever had commercially purchased. This thing rocks. Once you get the holes figured out, and I mean, they cost next to nothing to make, right? And you can't even measure how light that is. Like it's unreal how light these are. Once you build a few of them, you'll kind of develop a little bit of an idea of where to put the holes, what angle to put them on, and you'll have a stove that rocks. So, and this stove fits snugly, absolutely perfectly inside of there. I should mention that. Fits very nice. It doesn't protrude out. And the way I've built mine is, I believe the sidewall is 1 centimeter. So by the time they mush together, it leaves just enough gap for the flame to come up and plume and go out along the bottom of my kettle or the bottom of my pot. My 750 ml pot fits on there as well. And this thing throws flames quite high. My choice of fuel is methyl hydrate. I get it at Walmart, Canadian Tire. It's like $4 or $5 for 1 liter. Every person out there that's running alcohol stoves, I know everyone has their kind of go-to fuel and everyone likes what they use. You can use whatever you like. The fuel that works best for me is methyl hydrate. It's cheap, it's readily available, it works great in my stoves, and it's really the only fuel that I ever use. So methyl hydrate in that guy works great. Got some background noise for some cars or tractors or something. So talking about the stove, here is the triangular shaped stove. The reason I wanted to go with this is because it, number one, fits a pop can perfectly. It flat packs into this little kind of case, so very, very thin. But this stove can be used with the alcohol stove, so you can pop that in there, use it like that. It has a tray inside where you can pop in a little SBIT or whatever solid fuel tablets you may be using. So it does support that. And this tray comes out, kind of snap it out of here, comes out just like that. You can use the stove, once we reassemble it, you can use the stove with twigs. So I can actually put my kettle on top of here and I can load it full of twigs, and if I need to refuel it, I lift it off, I drop more wood in there, put it back on, and it will fuel that fire, and it can be used as an open twig stove. So really cool, 3 uses out of it. Wait for that truck to go by. The pleasures of doing videos in the backyard with all the background noises too. Kind of annoying sometimes. But yeah, so the stove works really great with all 3 fuel sources, using the tray with the alcohol stove on top of it, or using the Yesbit tablet, or using just the stove body itself as a twig stove. Now, this does work great as a wind protector, as a wind shield, which is why I mainly got it, was for this stove. It sets in there nicely, it's a good shield, I can cook in it in the wind, and it does perform very well. So, great stove. Like I was saying, it does flat pack, so these 3 sections come apart, and there's the 3 sections there, and then I just go ahead and put that on there, inside the bag, done. Very simple, very light, titanium. Again, I love titanium cookware and camping gear in general. So the next item I'll talk about is my jumbo fire steel. Now, this is from Holtzman Guerrilla Survival. They went ahead and they sent me a few knives and a whole bunch of fire steels. This guy is a monster. I love using it. It works really, really well, and I really enjoy it. So this I would use for lighting my wood stove or lighting my outdoor campfire. I find the larger fire steels, even though they're heavy, they're bulky, it doesn't bother me. This is a must-have. Long, thick fire steel. It's going to last forever. You can get a really good scrape on it and get a good fire going. So this is usually my go-to, is I'll have this with me, and I really like it. I do. So very awesome. That's my fire starter for my cook kit. So another fire starter, or stove lighter I should say, is this little guy. This I actually made myself. This is probably one of the oldest pieces of gear that I have, surprisingly. I can still see the flint in there. It still works awesome. This is the remnants of the last Bic lighter that I've owned. You guys on the channel know I don't use lighters, I don't use matches. I use fire steels, and that's it. And flint and steel, sorry, I use flint and steel as well. But this is the last Bic lighter that I've owned, and the only one that I own. I just cut the lighter once the fuel was out, obviously, trimmed it down, put a little key ring through it with a little lanyard of a paracord, and my thumb fits inside of the bottom there. So when I'm using my canister stove, I can just flick and it lights it, or when I'm using my alcohol stove, same thing. Give it a little flick, it lights it. Nice little compact, very, very light, very light. And you could buy something similar to this commercially, but they're more expensive than they really need to be. You're looking like $20, $30 for some of them. This costs you $2, nothing to make. Very, very simple and very fun little project. So that's my that stove back down there. So that's my my striker, basically. So we'll get that off to the side, and let's talk about coffee for a little bit. Let's talk about cafe. These are my 2 espresso maker and mocha pot, the 2 of them I should say. So mocha pot, you coffee lovers know the difference. You do get a different flavor from how you process your coffee or how you brew your coffee. This guy is my little packable espresso maker. It works great with these little cups. Fill it up, bam, you get 2 shots out of this guy with these 2 cups. Very, very simple. Fill it up to the line with water. It's got this little screen in here. You pack that with coffee, pop it on, screw it back together, and you get it on your heat source. I recommend using a canister stove because you don't want the flame to be licking up towards this little plastic piece here because it'll melt it. So a canister stove, get that on there like that, and it'll brew. You shut it off, grab the little plastic thing, take it off when you're done. Don't burn your hands. I have many times. So that's my little espresso maker. I'm not sure the brand of this guy. I've had this for a long time as well, and it works. It's aluminum, works really well. Now this guy is a rather new piece of kit to me anyways. Really small mocha pot. So I've gone ahead and assembled the leg section to this table. And talking about the table, move these cups out of here. This table was sent to me from my buddy Tommy in Germany. I can't say the company. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks like Schwarzbier Outdoor. Now I know it means black bee outdoors. He's gone ahead and developed these really awesome aluminum tables for backpacking. And I know it sounds a little strange. Why would you need a table? You really don't. You know, to be honest, I'll go ahead and take this adapter off first. You really don't need a table. I've been outdoors my entire life, the last 15-20 years camping, and I've never needed a table until I got one. Okay, so using this, I received it probably a good 2 or 3 months ago, and I've been using it ever since. It's been with me every single camping trip. I do really enjoy using it. It is a nice little prop for being outdoors and being in camps. Now, talking about camps and hiking, if I were hiking and I was in a hammock, I would most likely bring this because of the comfort factor. You can put this in the ground, put your table on top, and it works great when you're in a hammock. It works really good. Now, if you're out camping in a kayak, canoe, ATV, truck, it's nothing to throw all of this in there and just take it and go. So, really great product. I do really enjoy it. It's lightweight aluminum. It comes with these 2 little glasses. My model did anyways. They fit right in there. It's got this attachment here if you don't want to use the pull section. The pull section kind of adds weight. It's the heaviest item. So he's gone ahead and sent me this adapter piece which threads right onto the bottom of the table. And instead of using the leg, you can actually use a wooden stick just from the forest. Cut it down to size, jam it in there, tighten the little thumb screw, and you got a table whatever height you need. Talking about height, it does come provided with 3 sections of this pole material. So if one end has the brass, and if you want to have it set up and you only need 2 pole height, or if you only need the 1 pole height, or you need the 3 pole height, whatever you like to do, you can go ahead and pop those cups out of there. Go ahead, spin it on there till it locks in, jam it in the ground, and you got yourself a nice little flat area. Now, like I said, table, backpacking, you really don't need it because there's all kinds of surfaces. This does actually come in very handy when you're on a hill. Now, I do hammock camp on very steep hills, on ravines, rivers, all over the place. So let's say that the ground was on quite a hill. You can actually stick this in. Well, it doesn't even fit in there. That doesn't work. Anyways, so if you got a hill, you can actually stick this in the ground and effectively level out that hill. So you can be on a hill and still have a spot for your coffee, your beer, whatever you got going on. So it is useful. It is very useful, and I enjoy it because I can store everything on it. It's got the slots where you'll often see me put my spoons, my forks, I'll stand them up in there. It's got the 2 little cups. I use these cups for whiskey, for espresso shots, for sugar and creamer when I'm making my coffee. Go ahead and kind of pour it in, put it back type thing. Pretty nice piece of kit. I do really enjoy it, and like I said, it's been with me on every single trip ever since I've received it. So, loving that table. Final item, or no, not final item, we got a couple more left, but let's talk about this grill first. This is from Pomali. This and this titanium beautiful stove is from Pomali. Now, many of you know I've been working with Pomali for quite some time now. It's really fun working with them, developing products and talking about product upgrades and moving forward and making things that are just awesome. So I've lent a hand in helping out with the stove. I lent a hand with a few other products, and they've actually let me design my own product, which will be coming to the market very soon. I'm really excited for that. So I actually came up with the idea, pitched it to them. They went ahead and said, yeah, we're gonna do it. So very cool with them. Now, they sent me this grill, and this grill does go with the stove. It can be used independently. It's just a stainless steel grill. Nice fine mesh, so you can do like thin cuts of jerky or mushrooms or smaller things, and also larger thing like a shrimp or a big prawn, a steak, corn, whatever you want to do. Now, that's just the grill. Here we've got the wood stove. You could put your pot on top of the wood stove, which is what we all do, right? That's our cooking vessel when we're in our hot tent. Worked great. Now let's say it's not winter like right now, and we can't, I gotta move that mosquito coil out of the way. Hold on a sec. Now let's say it's not winter and it's kind of rolling into summer like it is right now, and you've got this awesome titanium stove and you're not hot tenting. This is where this thing's beauty. Go ahead and open these tabs. The top pops right off. Set it off to the side. This grill fits perfectly on top of here, and the little round bar of metal works as it securely holds it in place. So if you drop it on top, it's on there. It's not going sideways, forwards, or backwards. It is on there. Solid. So now you have an outdoor barbecue kind of grill cooking device, if you will. Open up the door, and now you can load your wood in there and barbecue your food, and you don't have to worry about your fire being disrupted or blown around with the wind. You can go ahead and shut the door, and it's gonna burn very, very nicely. So this is an excellent source if you're down at the lake in the summertime. And even if you bring charcoal, you can put charcoal in there. You can use it for smoking foods. You can do all kinds of things with this. So this works really, really well. You can't go wrong with titanium, right? Now, like I said, this grill is stainless steel. I'm hoping that they actually do come out with a titanium one. We've been talking about it a little bit, and it may come in titanium. It may not. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the reason why I've got a hot tent stove here, because you can use it for cooking in the wintertime and with that grill. So pop that off to the side. And what else do I got over here? The oven. Oh, this guy. Let's talk about the oven. All right, so what is the deal with the oven, man? Oven's great. This thing is really good. It's not light, okay? I want to say it's probably in the 5 to like 6-7 pound range. I'm not totally sure. It is all stainless steel. It's like a brushed kind of finish. It is a heavier item, but like I said, if you're out, you're pulling a sled, you're on a snowmobile, you're on a four-wheeler, you're in a truck, you're in a canoe, packing things like this really doesn't matter. It's not going to slow you down. It's not really going to weigh you down. The oven's great, okay? I've had this out in the winter in a hot tent trip doing nachos. I made nachos that trip. I made garlic bread. I made a couple other food items. You can use them for pizza. You can use them to melt cheese over your pasta dishes. You can make muffins. You can bake in this thing. You can do a cake. Really, really great item to have. No joke. I really do like it. It's quite a large oven. This rack moves up one more space or down one more space, or you can add another rack in there if you really want to. Door shuts, locks. It's got a little temperature gauge here so you can kind of float the temp as you're baking or cooking. It does flat pack. So I'll go ahead and pull the grill out of it. Pops out, very simple. You can use the grill just by itself, which is also kind of useful. Locking the door, kind of turn it around here first of all. It does have two little locks. Open that up, the top collapses in on itself. The same thing happens on the bottom. Go ahead and open the lock on the other side. The bottom folds in. Like that. And then the sides kind of collapse in on themselves. It's a little difficult. Ow, ow. All right, there you go. Lock it. So it is a flat pack oven that you can bring with you. I usually pack the grill on top, kind of in between the knob there, like that. It doesn't come with a bag, which is kind of the downside. I'm gonna have to, oh, actually, the canvas bag that comes with this guy will actually hold that. So cool. All right, this will fit inside of that bag, so if I'm out, well, I guess that doesn't help me because I still need an oven or stove. Anyways, it doesn't come with a bag. It is quite heavy, like I was saying, but it's one of those items that you want to be camping for a few days. If you're out and you're doing like a 4 or 5 night trip in a canoe, this thing will be awesome. You can put it on top of your wood stove. If you've got a wood stove, you can set it next to the fire to retain that heat. It's really good for making bread and other food items. Pizzas, really good. So it is something you can just set and forget. You put your food in there and walk away, let it kind of bake and do its thing. So that's the deal with this guy. That basically covers everything. And I've still got everything kind of sitting here and all over the place. So that is all of my camp cookware that I am currently using on a regular basis. I am still receiving a lot of gear from different companies and kind of working on developing different pieces of gear as well. So this kit will evolve and it will change over time. But right now, this is the end of May 2020. This is what I've got in my kit right now that I use on a regular basis. So if you guys do have any questions about what you see here, like I said, please go to my my gear review playlist and check that out, because pretty much everything here has a review, other than like a 750 mil titanium pot. I'm not going to do a review on that. It's just a titanium pot. They're pretty much all the same. So you buy one, you buy them all. Cup, I'm not going to review the cup. I will say I do have a review on the Big BBQ cup, because it does come with the cutlery, and they also did offer the grill with it, so I'll show a review of that. The kettle, I'll do a review on that because it is a little unique, where I did wrap the handle and change a few things. So yeah, if you guys do have any questions on any of the gear, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. I will get to them. And yeah, I'd really like to hear what you guys take in your kit and what your thoughts are on some of the gear that I have here. So definitely drop that down in the comment section, because I will be checking, and I'll get back to you guys on it. So that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I've got a massive tractor driving down the road, which is extremely annoying. So I'm gonna say peace out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.